And we are live. It is 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, 1 a.m. in the UK. It is Sunday, May the 17th. I almost said May the 7th. Wow, we're already halfway through May. See, this is what happens when we put the world on standby for a couple of months. You forget. You just forget. So, one of the advantages in these crazy times and having a YouTube channel is, you know what? I just get to invite on whoever I want to talk about whatever I want. And this week, I wanted on the Sunday Night Hang two marathon runners in the streaming community as of late, our daily dose of awesomeness, PJ in the Beard in the house. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thanks, Ben.
And everyone subscribe to PJ in the Beard.
Get that out of the way right from the beginning.
Yeah, right off the bat.
Let the telethon begin.
Yes, because we need to get these guys to at least 1,100 subscribers tonight, folks. So I'm looking at least 10. No, I'm looking at 16. No, I'm going to look at 20 because I want a little buffer there. 20 of you in the chat because we got 20 watching right now. Subscribe to PJ in the Beard. And you won't be disappointed. My God, you guys have had all kinds of cool cats on over the last month and a half, we'll say.
Yeah. We've been really lucky, I think, that there's a lot of other bored people out there. Or people that just have some time on their hands that they wouldn't typically have.
Right. Who would you say was the biggest, I'm going to say surprise, not only in the fact like, oh, we got this guy on, but it was like, wow, that was such a cool hang.
Oh.
Well, I would have to say maybe not for the live streams per se, but overall, for me personally, I think it was Josh Scott from JHS Pedals. He kind of early on when we were soliciting interview guests, he agreed. And super great guy, super funny guy. So loved and respected in the pedal world that, we joked even with him that, it's our whole theory of the cool guy at the party, right? Like you get one cool guy to come to your party and they're like, wait, Josh is going to be there, or Josh has been there. And so that's sort of what started, I dare use the word avalanche, but that's kind of, it doesn't hurt when you can ask people to come on and say, oh, we had Josh Scott on, we'd love to have you on. So for me, that was kind of a big one. Certainly there's been other very interesting guests, but that's sort of the one I think that, in my opinion, changed it a little bit for us. But
yeah, that's hard for me. There was I saw in the chat that Brian Landris said the Shane Spiel, the cigar box guy, who actually only lives like about 20 minutes from us. Right. We didn't really know him beforehand, but he's kind of internationally known as the cigar box guy. That was really interesting. Bosco France. It was like herding cats. Like he's amazing. I've been watching Brian Ewald do gear demos forever. So to get Brian Ewald from Pierre. Oh my gosh, I don't even know. Like I have to look at the list.
Well, I think, and it's great. It's like you're saying, an avalanche, because literally I went from when you guys put up the thumbnail, like here's the event, tune in, to I would literally go from holy crap they got to all of a sudden I'm like, oh snap, they got, like good on you boys, good on you.
Right, because there's been, like Brian Wampler, Dave Sestito from DLS Effects. Just this like kind of rotating cast. One that I thought was really interesting, John Cusack, because John Cusack, like if you're into pedals, you probably own a pedal made by John Cusack and don't know it.
Oh yeah, exactly. I was fortunate enough. I got to have a nice chat with him at Summer NAMM last year because Aaron, who was traveling with me, he's super pedal geek. So he's like, you got to meet Cusack. I'm like, who? Because like you say, I'm like, who? I kind of know the name Cusack pedal, and also, okay.
Yeah, I mean, his hands are in everything, right? So, I mean, there's Cusack pedals and there's Mojo Hand that he does, but then he does design, he does troubleshooting, he parts, whatever for so many other ones. So, yeah, I think and this sounds like such a cheesy cop-out maybe, but I think almost everyone in their own right, like has been really, really interesting. We haven't had a bad guest yet. Like we haven't had one like afterwards where we were like, oh, whether it's the Josh Scott and the Brian Wamplers, or like the other day we had on Tim from TL Pedals. We had on Yeah. Oh my gosh, Colt Westbrook from Walmart. So big companies, small companies.
Sure.
Actually, you know which one we have to mention? David Barber.
Yeah.
You know, because David
He's
came
become a super
over
fan.
here to the house for the first interview, did the live stream with us, hangs out in the chats for a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, almost nightly he pops into the chat at some point.
Yep.
And he makes my favorite overdrive of all time.
And he's very open and helpful in the chats. I love it.
Yeah. So he's probably, and the reason I think that I didn't think of him right off the bat is because he's become more of like a friend than this guest that we had on.
I can relate to that. Which we should, let's give some shout outs here. We got 37 people already in here. I see at top, we have the great Vanzini. We do have the awesome slinger of tone himself, Tim Lewis of TL Pedals Canada. Check it out, folks. JP Page 2, my lovely sister Amanda, Terry's GG&G. What's up, Doc? Grumpy Mike Guitar, Alex Radford, Pete Hickson. Chat jumping ahead on me, of course. Let's see, there's Brian Landreth. Good to see you, man. Anthony Murphy, Jay Steen, Peter DeBad, Martin Lemaire. There's Paul Ewing himself. Good to see you. He's probably taking a brief break from building that monster pedal board.
Right.
There's BV Ninja. Salut, mon ami. Ça va? There's Scotty from Pro Analog Devices. Lawrence Petross from LPD Pedals. Mark Taft.
Oh, Lawrence, man. Lawrence is on. He was awesome, too.
Yeah. Brendan B. Squared. Rude Tech. Hello.
I should have printed off a list.
I think we got our own pedal builder chat here. Jeez.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
For sure.
Bent Tom. My cousin Doug. Oh, and there is, whoa. What do we got here? Grumpy Mike Guitar. And why not? Time for a shot of bourbon. Cheers. I have no bourbon, but I will take a serious swig of wine. It's the best I can do.
I'm hoping for me, you are what you drink, right? Like, still be a little rock star. We'll see.
You're a pure zero? That's not right. You're a 10. Mikey Newman, George Lackey, James Lala, BC Rich 581, Hobo Roadie, Krenar.
Lots of names in here we recognize. That's really cool.
Sound Propeller Patrick, new name, welcome.
That's a good name. Sound Propeller. I like that.
Sound Propeller Patrick. I dig it. Thank you, Terry. Just posted a link to your channel there. And if I did miss you, I'm sorry. Say another comment, and I will grab you.
I was watching Terry's
this video.
Was watching
Go
Terry's
right ahead,
trade earlier today.
Tony. I was using my official or unofficial Ben Coombs guitar picks, compliments of Fruitcake Tony, just before we were going live.
Awesome.
Yes. Oh, Brian Landry says he's got his LPD pedal coming tomorrow.
Nice.
Mark asks if I have any North Carolina apple pie to drink. I do have some upstairs. I forgot it.
Is that an hour or two?
Yeah. Jay Steen says the Stinger Fuzz I'd go for. Not saying I may have one here in a couple of days.
There you go.
Yes.
I was told to rub that in. Tim
Yeah,
said rub that in that Ben doesn't have as yet. So look right there. That's the Stinger Fuzz Ben's waiting on. That gold color is slick too.
I dig that. Yeah, and that's the other one I'm waiting on. Thanks. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. We're just trying to see how long it takes for you to kick us off the stream. Look what we have, Ben.
But this is the true prize, right?
That's amazing.
Yes.
Whoop. There it is. Her little
It's a cool
artwork.
little booth.
That's cool. So yeah, Tim's awesome. Make sure you check out TL Pedals.
Yes. Thomas Santiago. Will Varela saying hey.
Yeah, hey, well.
Awesome. So yes, if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns for any of us, ask away. We're here to shoot the breeze and yeah, just hang out, have fun.
Tim said
We're walking off there. We came across each other about a year ago. You guys had I don't even know if he had started going live yet. I think it was just before you guys had started going live, and our mutual friend here, Brian Landreth, mentioned you guys to me. And then I remember he texted me on the side and he goes, can I plug my friend's channel? These guys are great. And I was thinking, go ahead, you're a cool cat. And the rest is history.
Yeah, we weren't really doing the live thing per se. I mean, I think I've always said that Jason's the better YouTube community citizen than I was in the beginning, kind of checking out other people's chats and getting to know people. And so, we record when we were allowed to be together. We recorded on Monday nights, and at the end, we'd kind of like try to maybe do a live stream and kind of dipped our toe into that. And so it was really cool for you. I think we were on after you for a little while, that you were always kind enough to send people our way, and that kind of started to build for us. And then we just weren't probably as adept at some at the live stream, and it was after a night of recording, and we kind of fell off of it. And then this whole quarantine shelter in place thing came along, and necessity is the mother of invention. So we jokingly started a series 19 conversations thinking we're never even gonna have to do 19 episodes. Well, tomorrow will be number 50. So
that's what I love too. It's 19 conversations, number 50.
Yeah,
perfect.
Exactly.
So we've done like a year's worth of live streams in the last 2 months.
Yeah.
But
get that watch time up, that's for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, no kidding.
And we got Milt T in the chat. Good to see you, Milt. How's that SG working for you? I think he's got an Epiphone SG he picked up not too long ago.
Wow. Like SGs, they're cool. For sure.
Let's see here. Wolf Relic says, I like the PJ and the Beard logo. Is there a t-shirt just like it? Thanks.
I don't know if Jason could put something in there or not, but
there is, Pat has the t-shirt on.
There's one.
Well,
Ben, help me out here. Ben, help me out here. When it comes to branding, can you overbrand at any point? I mean, can you?
No.
Sometimes it's an accident. Actually, honestly, that I have 3 things on. It's crazy. This is actually just a sticker, but
hey, I went a little overboard myself when I set up my online store. When they're like, you can put your logo on all these items. I'm like, why not?
That's right.
You can get. I think Brad Miller has a mason jar with my logo on it.
There you go. Yeah, the shirts are in black or gray, and mostly wear black. But today I'm not sure why I'm wearing gray, but I am.
Nice.
Yeah, there's a couple different things, but I'm trying to figure out how to get to them. I can't put the link in the store. I can't put the link in the chat. I'm not. But Brian's in the chat. Maybe if I send the chat the link over to Brian Landreth, he can throw it.
Yeah, he can post away. Hey, Daniel Horsley, good to see you. So, have you guys got any word in Pennsylvania as far as when you're going to be able to loiter in a music store again?
Depends on the music store and how well you know the owner. I think is
touché. Having stopped in a music store a couple of weeks ago to use the washroom, literally, and then I stole their Wi-Fi to upload a video because they have faster internet. So
nice. Maybe I think this coming Friday, we're going to the yellow phase, which changes certain things, where some businesses will be able to be open, and I think our favorite guitar shop, Woodshed Guitar Works in Carlisle, our friend Chris Delaporte, I think on Friday is opening sort of on a limited basis, trying to only have 1 or 2 people in the store at one time. And so that's good, because part of the reason that we wanted to go to these live streams too, we just wanted to find out, like, how are people handling this, right? Because we have friends who own guitar stores. We've become friends, acquaintances with people in the industry that build pedals, and so it's been really tough on some people during this time, especially for our friend Chris, who does a lot of repairs. That's kind of the backbone of his store. So it's kind of good that these people can kind of get open. I mean, and some people have an online presence for sure. A lot of the pedal builders that we talked to had inventory. The supply chain wasn't totally broken down yet. They were able to continue to sell. But it's been tough. Probably not as tough as it is for the touring musicians and people who play shows, but So
I think it's crazy in some respect. I know a lot of mom and pops were hurting during this, but if they had a decent online presence, like I know for a fact there was several mom and pop like owners themselves that were going in, processing online orders themselves, because that way there's no employees in the place. It's just them by themselves, and they were able to do that a fair amount. And like technically yesterday I was in a music store because excuse me, technically because I picked up some gear for Richie, and they had curbside pickup, but to use debit, you actually walk inside the double doors, just inside. And then they told me, I think they're back open for good on Tuesday. Like, I'm sure there's going to be some restrictions involved, but that means I get to go back to music stores and loiter and make videos. This boy's happy.
Yes. I sent you that link over. Landreth is driving the truck right now, so you can't post it.
Yeah.
I don't know what your multitasking capabilities are over there, Mr. Coombs, but
Scotty from Pro Analog Device says, okay, just subscribe to your channel. Do you guys mainly live stream?
Currently, yes. No, but yes, now 50 out of 55 days, yes. When everything kind of gets back to normal, we try to record once a week and do 2 or 3 episodes that generally are a pedal review or guitar review. But we've been talking about, since we've done 50 of these, starting tomorrow will be 50, what does that look like? Do we do it once a month, twice a month? So we really have garnered some friends and followers in this. Like, I think before we went live, Ben jokingly said that we're like Oprah for him, like 4:30 every day. He knows what he's doing. And I don't know that we can keep that pace up, but we certainly don't want to abandon those people that would have really helped us kind of get through this. For our hour of distraction is not just for everybody else, it's for us as well. So I don't know, I'm kind of answering for Jason, but we've really been kicking around like we don't want to lose the momentum for the live thing, but it's not, well, we say it's not our thing, but we've done 50 of them now, so I'm not sure.
Right. Yeah, even if something every couple of weeks you guys are able to do, or because everybody has schedules in life once things get crazy, even if it's a pre-recorded interview that you premiere maybe, or something like that. Just ideas. Wow, we got a bunch of people in here. Sean Zimmerman's in here, and Eric C. And I saw Browns fan is in here. Vance Hicks. Craig Tomlinson. Wow, Half Ace. Nice.
Cool.
Lewitt 89. Hello.
Hey, Sean. Hope it's a good day today.
Nice. There we go. Oh, there. Brad Miller's in the house. He said, sorry I was late. He was wrapping up doing his vlog, which if folks want to check out, yeah, Brad Miller's been doing some stuff as well. And so, he's a big supporter of this channel, so the least I can do is shout it back. Nice. I see Tim and Lawrence are falling in love with each other in the chat.
A bromance budding right before our eyes. I'm going to have to tell David Barber.
Yeah, the live stream has been fun, man. Props to you for doing it for so long and so consistently.
Well, thank you.
I mean, it's a thing, like it's a little. That's really cool that you've been able to maintain it for so long and build such a great following up and give people something to look forward to. It's nice.
It's something fun to do on a Sunday night. I used to actually do this during the day on Sundays, like a lot of other guys did, but it was kind of random, depending on if I was gigging the night before, because literally it's like, you get home at 4:30 in the morning. It's like, really, do I want to go live at noon? No. Yeah. And it literally, there's a couple of them. If people go back on the channel, I'm just literally, hi guys. And it's like, I remember one time my drummer came in the chat and he goes, are you wearing the same clothes that you gigged in last night? Like,
yes, I am.
Yeah, I am.
So it's like, hey, Mod, ban that guy.
That's awesome.
I like Will's comment. Will Varela, wait, it's Sunday? Because we were interviewing, what was Tim's last name from Hampstead, Amps in England? And we're like, what time is it? He goes, does it matter? Does anybody know what time it is? Does anybody care what time it is? Do we know what day it is?
Tim Steer.
Yeah, Tim Steer, from Hampstead. He was great.
Yeah.
I had that very conversation with my mother today. I was like, well, Sundays are a busy day for me, because I like to help out Pete Thorne with his live streams. China Mike will go live most Sundays as well. And she's like, well, I get that, but I don't understand. I was like, you do realize today's Sunday. She's like, damn it, I thought it was Saturday.
Keep putting the X's on the prison wall. You'll keep track of what the hate is.
A little Big Ben 12.
Notches in.
Not implying that your mother was in prison. I'm just saying that's how we all mark time. We put a scratch on the wall.
Thank you, Eric. Love finishing my weekend with the show, Vance Hicks says. Yeah, well, there we are. And it's not like I have to compete with pro sports most Sundays.
Right, exactly. I think I turned
Although
on
I will
ESPN.
say for a certain segment that's in the chat, no spoilers, NASCAR did return today. So no spoilers in the chat, please.
I'm not saying they're getting desperate for programming, but I turned on ESPN3 and there was a father-son playing catch in the backyard at 3 a.m. So I don't know. That's someone had the over-under on that too. They were betting on it, I'm sure.
And ESPN is showing a lot of cornhole tournaments.
Yeah,
Is it that?
True story. Mine was fictitious. Yours was actually true.
Yes. I only know that because, my cousin Doug here, he's got his own, he's got a cornhole podcast, and he's been doing gangbusters with it. Because it's such a new sport, he started a podcast and started doing live streams as well and doing hangs like we do, except in that world. And it's funny, as much as the talk's the same, there's no difference. Like they're talking with the big thing in that sport is the bags that you throw. Well, there's all these small independent bag builders that are having supply issues to be able to fulfill orders. I'm like, yeah, I can relate with all the pedal builders that we know, doing stuff. So it's like,
I was just
doesn't matter who you are.
I was thinking there's similarities, right? A wood top with a sound hole in it. Like maybe talking about grading the flame tops of the cornhole things. Maybe we could do a PJ and the Beard one where it's just one of us on each end with our big mouths open.
I like that. Yeah, maybe a nice cherry burst around the edge.
Yeah, exactly.
Or get a T-shirt. We have a cornhole set.
That's right.
That's right.
That's gonna be part of the telethon. That's hour 2. Hang around, kids.
Man, you should be tapped into that, man. What have you been waiting for?
I'm already thinking, do I want a quilt maple top or a flame maple top?
That's right. One piece book match. What do you want?
Yeah. Yeah, everyone else is buying, Les Paul tops at NAMM. We're down there looking for cornhole boards.
Yeah, we're down at the lumber store. Actually, we got a connection for maple, right? All our good friends in Canada just sent us some nice maple tops.
There we are.
Mark knows who won the race, but he's not going to tell you.
Yes. I was going to mention that. My sister just texted me for our Canadian friends. We had some sad news today. Our snowbirds had a crash. They're like the Blue Angels in the U.S.
Oh, wow.
They were doing a cross Canada pick-me-up tour, we'll call it. Like basically doing a flyover all across Canada, wrapping it up on the West Coast, and we had a crash today. Unfortunately, the pilot passed away, and the passenger is in not too good a shape. So she just texted me about that. We just had official word, so...
Wow.
Yeah, that's terrible because that was happening here too with the Blue Angels and the other group kind of doing the same thing, maybe flying over hospitals and other places. We're in Pennsylvania. My wife's in Atlanta. She saw some of those flyovers. That's sad because those guys are just unbelievable at what they do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it was Monday or Tuesday this week they flew over here because we have one of the largest air bases in Canada, one town over. So they stayed here for a day or two, I think. Yes. Hello to Sandra, and there's Music Therapy Laz, Absolute Mayhem. Wow. Yes, thanks, Mayhem.
I saw Music Therapy? I saw was live earlier. I was going to try and jump in, but things got away from me.
Yes, he goes live Thursdays and Sundays at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. I try to jump in when I can too, but I'm usually setting this up. And I like to get a jam in before we go live, so I'm not sitting here noodling the whole time.
I like the sound his bird makes when it flies over and lands on the microphone.
Yes.
It's a great sound.
There's JJ's House Jams. Good to see you, Brother James. I was chatting with his bass player, Joe, this week. Joe asked me to help him design a custom pickup for a guitar he's putting together. So we got a Reno Fin Custom Pickup wound, kind of like the bridge pickup in Frank Zappa's SG.
Cool.
And I'll have all the same wiring options, so that should be fun. Thank you, Brian, as well. He put in the merch site as well. He must have pulled over, or at least I hope he did.
Yeah. Cruise control.
You're driving, man. Don't be posting. Don't be posting stuff.
He's like, hey, I'm knee steering.
Yeah.
That's
Your
right.
hands on the wheel. Get your eyes on the road, man. Jeez. Oh, scary.
Good crowd here. Digging that. It was funny when you guys had Colt on the other day. I had a bit of a heart in my throat moment because I didn't realize until you had him on that I'd met Colt before, and that was hanging out in the Walrus audio booth. And I thought, who's this punk kid giving me the hard sell on his products? Right. Like, get away, sales clerk. And then all of a sudden I'm like,
yeah. Well, you heard me ask him, right? You heard me ask him, were you at Summer NAMM 2 years ago? Because I was in the booth too, right? I at that point I wouldn't know him clearly if I'd have fallen over him. I was more interested in just Casey Marvin just strolling around because Veritas had their guitars hanging in Walrus Audio's booth, and Casey was just walking around. So I talked to him, but I wouldn't have known Colt had I fallen over him, and it's very possible I could have. But oh my gosh, he was so funny. When he got into that Joe Exotic story, I thought I was going to throw a clock, man. Because our local friend said, hey, make sure you ask him where he got his studio lights from. I'm like, okay. And he didn't tell me the story. So we're like, all right, Colt, we're supposed to ask you, where did you get the lights for your studio? You bought them in a parking lot in Oklahoma. And he's like, starts telling the story about how it ended up being Joe Exotic from the Tiger King. And it was just like, what planet did I just land on? This is fantastic.
And he was doing the impression too. I mean, he was like, he's in character. Like, he's in character and everything.
I was in and out on that when I was doing some other stuff. I was playing, and all of a sudden I'm like, wait, what?
This isn't a shameless plug, but go watch that episode of Colt Wilbur and go just scrub all the way to the 34-minute mark and just start watching it from there. And you will see my head go back so hard from laughing. I thought I was going to get whiplash. Because I had no idea where the story was going to go, and I certainly did not see Joe Exotic coming. So,
and I want to give a shout out to Brian Landreth as well for not only bringing us together, but he has started producing content, and he has realized just how not easy it is to produce content. So he is shooting for 100 subscribers. And if anyone in here who isn't already, we got 55 of us in here. So if any of you haven't subbed to Brian Landreth already, please do.
Oh yeah, absolutely. What are you waiting for? His girl has a big behind.
And she thinks I'm good looking for some weird reason.
I don't know if I'm talking about his actual girl, but he has a song on that channel called My Girl or whatever it is. She's a big behind.
Well, yes.
Yes, you have to.
I'm just thinking the running joke in your chat every day. It's like,
you look better in your jeans, right?
Yeah, apparently I look better in jeans. Yeah. And I do have to warn Brian every time I cross the Mississippi. So I'm told. And Brian just like, different girl.
He cleaned it up. He recorded that tune, and he had, another video that went with it for a while, and apparently he's cleaned it up now. So,
which was nice because when we featured Brian's page on our show, Tim Lewis's daughter Brielle was in the watching, and
right.
So we're glad that the thumbnail had slightly changed, although the bottom barely fit in the frame, but it was better than what was there before, probably.
Nice. Oh, Lawrence just subbed to Mr. Landreth, he said.
Nice.
Tim's on the way out.
Yep. See you, Tim. Thanks for stopping in, buddy. Enjoy some McDonald's for Brielle or with Brielle. Maybe they'll both have it. Maybe just she'll have it. Because I can't see him just sitting there eating it in front of her.
Right. Put the Brielle boost up there one more time. $50. It's 50 something. 50 on Reverb from TL Pedals. She makes this. Tim's daughter makes it. And she drew this nice little PJ in the beard logo for us. So if you want to go support Brielle.
Will Varela says, okay, I just subbed Brian. It wasn't hard to notice that big behind.
Brian might be onto something.
Nice. Let's see here. Absolute Mayhem says, question for the panel. With more spare time lately, has anyone changed any guitar habits, like practicing or learning new songs or something else?
I'll default to my colleague because he's been working hard, and I'm in the same rut I was in 3 months ago. So
Yeah. Yeah. So started taking some lessons again right before this happened. But it's so busy, like it wasn't making any sense, right? Well, then this happened. I had more time, so I've gotten like this half hour, 45 minutes a night just to sit in the chair with an acoustic and start thinking about those lessons. Started doing them again virtually with a guy. Really been working on like scales and modes and trying to understand. You know, no shame in admitting, like I was a pentatonic guy, right? Like I'm in the pentatonic scale and I'm good. I can fake a major every once in a while, but I've been trying to like dissect that a little bit and get it to the point of even today, like starting to like turn the metronome on and run the scales up and down and like speed the metronome up and keep running the scales, working on alternate picking. But the amount of like aha moments that have come out of that, like, oh, wow. All of a sudden starting to understand why certain things fit together. I keep making the joke to Pat. When we finally get back on stage together again, because we play every Sunday on stage together, when we finally get back on stage again after this, I will be a much different guitar player. I didn't say I'll be a much better guitar player. I'll be a much different guitar player. I'll probably be worse as I try to stumble through and apply all the knowledge that I'm picking up. But it's been amazing because I started playing guitar late, so I never had that like 16-year-old, I'm going to sit in my bedroom and play for 8 hours a day experience. And so this has been kind of really cool to get some of that. So there's the long answer, I guess. But yeah, a lot of things have been kind of coming together. And that, I mean, you don't even, Ben, did somebody, was it you or Hack? Somebody interviewed Stitch recently?
Hack did.
That's his name, right? Because in the midst of all this, I've stumbled upon his channel. Like after that interview, I didn't get to see that interview. Stumbled upon his channel and have watched some of his things too. And he has some really, really good lessons out there that just, you know, get you starting to think and just like go in some different directions. Like you start to hear things coming out of your guitar that you didn't hear coming out of your guitar before, which is really cool.
Exactly. Exactly. I agree on that one.
So
I will say during this downtime, I was able to dedicate 2 hours to dialing in a compressor.
I've been trying that for 25 years. So good for you for doing it in 2
Literally,
hours.
that's what it took was 2 hours of just, and then switching guitars. And because I wanted it set, because that was the problem. I always had to tweak my compressor for every guitar or pickup combo. So
how many knobs do you have in your compressor?
What's that?
How many knobs?
4.
See, that's the problem right there. Like once you get above 3 knobs, like
yeah, you know, it was a Keeley. Everyone's like, "Oh, you got to get a Keeley. It's great." And
if it takes any pedal, if it takes more than 3 knobs, you're in real trouble. Like I'm just kidding. It's a running joke.
That is funny because Jason and I, neither one of us use a compressor with any great consistency, but Jason does have a tone press from David Barber Electronics, and really interesting getting to meet and talk to people that David Barber was basically the one that created the whole blend control, one of the first to do that with the compressor, to be able to control the amount of your guitar drive signal and really makes it a pretty flexible pedal.
Parallel circuit, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And that's like
we got 6-string Brian in the chat. Speaking of going live on Mondays, every Monday at 7. And Laz here, penance for being late, have a drink on me. I did see that, so I have been sipping away while the others have been talking. Brad Miller put a link for Tiger King in here. And oh dear Lord, he showed up, Boner Jams himself, rising out of the ashes, your neighborhood friendly erection jamboree. Happy Sunday, everyone. The only Boner Jam.
Good. That one sounds like it hurts.
Yeah.
I don't know. People will be jonesing for something to do when this whole thing clears. Maybe the Erection Jamboree might be a name that people are going to capitalize on.
It sounds like every guitar player's party, right? It's just a sausage fest.
Exactly. Where are the girls? I don't know.
If the band is really good and the guitar player is really good, then there's probably no girls there. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, it's like, you know, you get asked, hey, is there any girls at the gigs you play at? I'm like, yeah, you know, sure. Johnny brings his wife. Brad brings his wife.
That's great.
And Jay Steen saying, watch Henning's video of Lawrence's compressor. Nice. There's Nick from Amp Top Demos. Good to see you. Brian Lander says, I was late catching on to 6-string Brian, and it's great. Damn straight.
Yeah, definitely.
Sandra's here. Nice. I think I forgot to shout out Sandra earlier. John, ZD351. Well, we're definitely global here. We got people from all over the place tuning in. Quite nice. I like how everyone's late to the party. They feel so bad. It was like, are you only fashionably late if you're only half hour?
Right. I like their pennants. We like to joke that when we had Dave Wiener on from Steve Vai's band, he felt bad because he's got this pretty elaborate setup that he can go audio 3 different ways, and he was having trouble. So we started like 3 minutes late, and in exchange, he gave us like 36 more minutes. So it's like
wow.
we enjoyed his exchange rate. So he felt really bad. I'm like, it's not the end of the world, but
yeah. I get it. It was like, well, when I had Pete Thorne on, originally he was going to come on a Sunday show, and I was already booked well in advance. And I was like, well, I don't want to make him wait. So I was like, why don't you come on and do a Monday show with me, which is normally 1 hour. And he's like, so he jumps on. He's like, so how long do you go? I was like, well, the Monday show is usually only an hour. He's like, screw that. We're going longer. Okay. And then we end up doing, I think, a little over 2.5 hours.
Oh my!
Yeah, I caught parts of that. Yeah, it was great, man.
Yeah, that was insane. Speaking of good guests, like yeah, man. What's he have subscriber wise? Like,
he's pushing 200,000.
Wow.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not like we all can't go and watch, but I feel like you've got like a front row seat to all this stuff, right? Because you're moderating the chat for him when he's with Tim Pierce. And those two went on for, oh my gosh, that was 2+ hours. And so you just kind of get to sit there and take it all in. And, you have the excuse that you have to be there, right? So you have to be there for every minute. I kind of had to like phase in and out of that. So that's
exactly. That's always, but I'm his only moderator and he has 700 people watching.
Right. I mean, it goes live from the airport. And it's just like, are you kidding me? Like, look at all these people chiming in. He's, eating an avocado toast and talking to people while he's sitting at LAX.
Yeah. And what makes it worth it is I can send him a text afterward and I'm like, because he would come on, it's not even his regular time. And I'll say, hey, a-hole, thanks for a heads up. I have a life too. And he's like, oh, thanks. You're always there. I'm like, yeah, I got the notifications on. Don't worry about it.
Brad Miller said, listen to you guys dropping names all over the place. Pat likes to do that. I mean, he's an unashamed name dropper.
Name dropping, overbranded.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Speaking of which, Sean Walden, hello. He's like, what are you sipping on tonight? I am sipping on Sibling Rivalry wine. I'm sure my sister will love that. It is a Niagara wine, and it is a Merlot, Cabernet Franc, and Gamay blend. It's a 2017.
And what's the alcohol percentage on that? Because the blends are sometimes... I was curious. 13-ish, maybe?
That's what I'm... Yep, 13.
There you go. We just changed the whole topic of the show. Guess the alcohol percentage in Ben's glass.
Guess the alcohol percentage in Ben.
Well, yeah, when you go upstairs and get that North Carolina, whatever you were talking about, that's going to be a whole different show.
Isn't that true?
Moonshine makes people...
I'll tell you what, though, you get guys like that on your show, Ben. You should drop their names.
True story.
Yeah.
Speaking of name dropping, I got to talk to Scotty over at Prairie Analog. We need to get together again. Because Scotty doesn't pull any punches.
Cork sniffer.
Yeah. Well, see, I don't mind Cork Sniffer because when Richie and I started getting into, more higher end pedals, not your Amazon pedal type thing. So we started referring to, I was like, oh, I won't use that Joyo phaser because I'm a tone sniffer, Nice.
Joyo.
Hey, I got the Joyo flanger on my board.
Well, I have to undo a pedal board to get the right milliamps to fire this thing up. I tried to turn it on the other day, and all my old Voodoo Labs and everything was only like 100 milliamps. So haven't got to try it out yet, but we got that from Joyo.
I'm just laughing. Paul Ewing says Ben moderates so many shows is because they cannot find anyone else that can herd cats. Did I not say that off air, Pat?
Yeah, that's true story. We should have had you on. We had Bosco on.
Yes.
Try.
Jason and I talked about that. You would have the best chance of anyone on the planet to keep Henning in some semblance of a box, maybe.
I've done 2 shows with him.
Yeah, that's a gift.
Yeah,
I will freely admit, I think I would be afraid of that. I think I would.
We've talked about Henning and Greg Koch. Like, what would they be like to have as guests, man? They are like
Henning, easier guest than Greg.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think. I'm just trying to think. I've talked to Henning a lot more. I've talked to Greg a couple of times, just briefly.
Mm-hmm.
But Greg is a lot of fun, though. I would say it's probably more laughs per minute with Greg.
Right.
But you're going to be worn out. He'll just wear you out.
Right. Especially if he's talking and playing at the same time, because when he plays, it's like it never makes any sense, but it always works. Like, wait, what did he just do? How did that come out?
And is he winning some of these daytime live streams? Because half the time you go up, he'll go live while you guys are live, and he's got an in-house drummer with him. And he's just on the porch, and there's this kid in the back playing drums, and he's doing his thing.
Right.
Just like, yeah, okay, sure. Well, there you go. See, I don't mod Henning's channel, but my sister mods his channel. So there you go.
You won't do it, but she won't do it, but her sister will. I think there was what did Mayhem ask us? Kind of a hypothetical question. I'm not trying to moderate your channel, but he actually popped up a question. I can't find it.
That's fine.
That's why I suck at moderating.
There we are. Yes, if you guys had a chance to create the ultimate rock show and could choose any 3 bands or artists that are alive, who would make up the lineup? Triple threat rock show.
I'm throwing Warren Haynes in there right away. Government Mule for me.
Nice.
It sounds cliche, but I say this, but I say this a little bit with a little bit of hesitancy. Like, Hendrix is kind of obvious in one sense, but I'm not so sure at the time it would have made any sense. Talking about Greg Koch not making sense. Seeing Hendrix do that at the time, like for me, I was always late to the party, right? Like, I liked Hendrix later in life. I liked Zeppelin later in life. But that would be something to experience. Somebody like Jimmy just bending all the rules at the time.
Oh, well, so are we going?
It's a dead era.
Doesn't matter era?
No, it's a dead
I'm thinking like right now today. I'm definitely
Any 3 bands you want. Because let's be honest, even the term rock is pretty loosely based. So,
right.
I mean, if I could see Led Zeppelin, who would turn down a chance to see like Led Zeppelin from Led Zeppelin's heyday? Which, you know, John Bonham on the drums, and
right.
if we can recreate this band and put it out, yeah.
I just got a message from the legend himself, BV Ninja. He asked if I could plug a little show that he moderates. That would be That Pedal Show on at 5 p.m. UK time. Sure, if they really need a plug for me, BV, but definitely.
That Pedal Show? What do they talk about pedals?
Apparently, yeah.
Something about pedals?
Yeah, apparently. Yeah, so everyone should definitely check that out because, yes, they've been going live as well, and some interesting and always knowledgeable stuff.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of good options here.
Yeah, I think Amp Top Demos for the win, right? Where did it go?
Beatles, Hendrix, and Zeppelin.
Yeah. Can't go.
I'm going to go with, Zeppelin. You know, and I'm thinking, we'll figure prime for each of these artists. You know, Zeppelin, early 70s. Rolling Stones, early 70s.
You can't go wrong there.
And then we'll just have a young Van Halen open the show.
I'll throw Rush in there just to see Neil Peart play one more time.
There we are. Have Rush play and make the other bands on the bill have to watch them play.
Well, how funny was that? I'm totally changing the topic. How funny was it when Neil Peart passed away, and nobody could really cover a song to honor him, right? Like no band out touring could do it. I want to say like Ario or somebody did it, but they did a super mellow version of one of the songs.
Right.
So you're not going to go cover a Rush song to honor his passing. One of the greatest.
Taylor
bands in
Hawkins
history.
could probably do a decent job.
Yeah. That dude
Yes.
plays with passion, man. He's fun to watch.
Yeah, I think it was, I don't know if it was in Toronto where both Foo Fighters and Rush were playing. And so Foo Fighters showed up at Rush's sound check or something to that effect. And Taylor asked to jam YYZ with the guys. And so, and of course he plays it just like on the album, same. And they're like, we haven't played it at that BPM in decades. Like they've slowed it like by 5 BPM or something like that.
It's like easy listening.
It's up there, 100 miles a minute, and they're like, "Geez, slow down, kid." All right, Milt. He says, "Time for a shot, Ben." All right, getting low here.
We'll put in there Creamer, Blind Faith. There's a bunch of other people. Do you know what? You know who I'd like to? If I could see Ultimate Rock Show right now, I'd also like to see Derek Trucks and his band, Susan Tedeschi Trucks band. If you haven't watched any of the stuff they're putting out, like some of the live recordings that are on YouTube of them, is there a better band right now? Like all the way around, like every musician in that band is just absolutely killer.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's Derek Trucks.
Who was that? Richie messaged me the other day, but he's like, "Have you seen this Marcus King guy?" I'm like,
Yeah,
well aware, dude. Yep.
Right.
Dang, mayhem. Make it a double.
Yeah, I watched something from the Susan Tedeschi Trucks band the other day that at the end of it, I was just like, what just happened? Like the whole way around, the whole band.
I became more of a fan of theirs watching the Rig Rundown. Like Derek Trucks, it's like, what do you play through? A dimed super reverb. What do you do for lead boost? I could turn on a second super reverb. I'm like, damn!
Brilliant.
Who does that,
Yeah, I plug my guitar into an amp and I turn it up. Which, I mean, is what we're all doing with an overdrive pedal because none of us are Derek Trucks to get to like turn our amp up to 12 on any stage we walk onto.
Well, I think he does also follow that, the family lineage in many ways of the Allman Brothers. And the last time I saw an Allman Brothers Rig Rundown, they were all using Fender Twins as studio or stage monitors.
Wow.
And I'm thinking, well, those things are ear-bleedingly loud to play through. So how much volume are you pushing on stage where you need your wedge monitors to be twins?
Yes. Can you imagine? Holy cow.
Yeah.
That's like Carlos Santana. Maybe it's just me, but I swear every time you see Carlos Santana playing something live and he walks out and hits the first note on his guitar, immediately I think, oh my gosh, that guitar is so loud. Like, yeah. I mean, it's a recording on TV, but you can just tell from the tone and the way he hits it that thing is like screaming through an amp.
Yeah.
I love Carlos for that very reason too. Because he's like, it's just pushed to the brink. And he comes out and hits
it. As soon as he said push to the brink, because famously you'd always see him like play a lick and while he's bending a note, fiddle with a knob, a switch, something, because he's constantly looking for that perfect tone, but it's right on that edge of control.
Love it.
Yes, Grumpy Mike asked what compressor it took me 2 hours to dial in. That would be the Keeley compressor, 4-knob compressor. And most of it was the blend. Be going between 145 to 145 to just.
That's supposed to be a really nice compressor.
They are nice.
Yeah.
I was able to retire my Boss CS2 because of it. Which I think I bought in 1992, 1993. And then it sat in the drawer for the better part of 20 years because I turned it on and I was like, it doesn't do anything. I didn't realize that, like that one, you pretty much have to dime everything to get that squishy chicken picking tone. But you put everything at noon, you're like, yeah, it's transparent.
Some love for the Keeley in the trap.
Nice. We like that. Best first pedal for beginning guitarist. Charles 75N asks.
Well, that's an easy one. I got it.
All right.
I got it. Beginning guitarist, your best first pedal. TC Electronics Ditto Looper.
Okay. I'm going to just go with the find a cheap clone. That way you're just putting a little snot on whatever you're already playing through.
With a Ditto Looper, then you can get like you can lay down a loop, play over top of yourself, try and match it, all that crazy stuff. Or maybe like a drum machine, like a drum machine pedal or something that you can play to, something that helps with your timing and But I mean, good tone is good tone. But if you're sitting in the room playing by yourself, it might be fun with a Ditto Looper to put down a loop and have something to like play over top of. So you pull up the pentatonic scale, you lay down a couple chords, and hours of fun.
We got the feel button here.
Although Craig Tomlinson is probably right with the tuner.
Yeah, that's true. Dang, boner jams. All right. He's like curious of the response. Name one overrated guitarist and one overrated band.
Oh, geez.
Oh, but I'm just going to make it easy. Nickelback and whoever the hell the guitar player is in Nickelback.
It's like I've seen Nickelback several times. Jason and I have a mutual friend that for whatever reason buys a ticket to the show every time they come to Hershey. Always overbuys. So I proudly like to say the 3 times, I'm going to check out now, but 3 times I've seen Nickelback. 2 of them were for free, and 1 of them was a Groupon because Bush, believe it or not, was opening for Nickelback. So I've seen Nickelback 3 times. And I watched the drummer the whole time. Best musician in the band.
So who is this other guy you have on the show? Who's this guy? I don't know him.
I was going to say the closest I ever saw to seeing Nickelback was I saw Theory of a Dead Man in concert, which was basically the same thing.
I basically said Nickelback. That's a horrible refund. I want all of it back, not just a nickel.
Now, see, somebody down in the chat said overrated guitarist John Mayer, overrated band Greta Van Fleet. And so to that, I would say, first, I didn't like John Mayer's solo stuff. We've talked about this on our live stream before, too. Pat and I have talked about it. I love what John Mayer's playing with the Dead and Company. He's killing it. He's killing it, man. If you haven't watched, personal opinion, John Mayer's killing it with Dead and Company.
All the footage I've seen of him playing with the Dead, you have provided me.
Jason's a big Dead fan too, so this is not.
This is true.
Yeah, I mean, this is props because when the Dead and Company,
and that's why I wouldn't bag on it because I was watching and I listened to it open minded because I know how you feel about the band, right? So I was like, okay, And I will say, he's not being all John Mayer. He's staying in his lane, as you'd say, in many ways. They let him. Obviously, you got to be able to let him do some stuff because otherwise, that's the Dead, right? You got to do it, but
right. Oh yeah, he's stretching it. When they said they were touring with John Mayer, I was like, "Are you kidding me? Like that is ridiculous." And they were right. Greta Van Fleet, like him, love him, whatever. Overrated, maybe. Yeah, they sound like Zeppelin, but I mean, you got young kids that are trying to bring rock and roll back, and kids are going and watching it. To me, that could only lead to something better.
Yeah, but then again, does every punk band, do we write them off because they all tried to be the Ramones? All
these guys playing in Led Zeppelin cover bands are picking on Greta Van Fleet for sounding like Led Zeppelin.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm picking. I like him. I do. I mean,
let's let him give him another album or 2, right? Well.
Quentin James said yeah.
Oh dear Lord.
Quentin James said the actually overrated player is Quentin James.
As well, he was voted most underrated too. So I guess that makes him the world's most okayest guitar player.
That's right. There's a bunch of T-shirts out there for him.
BC Rich said he hates jam band music. Man, that's cool, man. That's the nice thing about music. Like we don't have to.
It's art.
Not everybody has to like everything. You got to find the things that you like and jam on those, and that's what makes it cool. So, I grew up with a Dead.
Yeah, there. The feel button says, "If I was young, I'd be rocking the Greta Van Fleet."
Yeah, man.
Hey, if I was young, I just hope I'd be rocking and not listening to some techno drum machine or something.
I think Greta Van Fleet has young girls at their concerts. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, well, there we go.
It's not just a bunch of dudes.
Daughters of the John Mayer fans, right?
Yeah, there's girls at the John Mayer shows too, man. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Like,
yeah.
if that kind of thing matters to you.
That dude can sing from Greta. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Brain language just says, I wish more people thought I sounded like Led Zeppelin, right?
That's like the worst insult, right? You guys sound like Led Zeppelin. Oh, man.
Okay, so Boner Jams replied with his most overrated as Papa Roach. I just loathe Papa Roach. He says overrated for guitarist is Carlos Santana. I don't love his rhythm skills, and people love him for his improv. Not my cup of tea. Well, there we are.
I can see that.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Rating musicians is overrated. Love it.
It just says not many guitarists can pull off what Mayer does with Dead and Co. Yeah, man. That's like, how do you pay tribute? Well, it's the Warren Haynes factor, right? So Warren Haynes sits in with the Allman Brothers and plays Warren Haynes, but he tips his hat all the time to Dwayne Allman and to Dickie Betts. And I think John Mayer tips his hat to Jerry Garcia. They're not trying to be those guys, but they nod their head to him, give him that inflection, which I think is really, really cool.
Do we have Johnny in here? Johnny Beans in here, I think. Yeah, awesome. He had an awesome show last night, folks. Check it out. Not only did he have Jason Becker on, he also had Richie Kotzen on as well.
Wow.
And they went a little over 2 hours themselves. And it was, it was awesome. Very inspirational, too. Quentin James asks, is the Earth flat? Asking for a friend.
No, the Earth isn't flat. Be an idiot. What science teacher?
It is, and you're stuck in the corner, Quentin.
That's right. Turn around and stop looking at us.
Warren was better in Dead in Company than John Mayer, Brian Landreth says. Warren is very much a chameleon player. Like, he's your true blues guy that, talk about underrated in many ways, because like Warren's been a household name amongst players, I'd say, because I think you're only going to get so big playing that style of music, and mostly it's amongst other musicians, but the guy's been around since I was in high school. It's like, what does he have to do to really prove himself?
Yeah. Milt T asked if I have a favorite guitar in the rack behind me.
I don't think it's in the rack.
The Gold Sparkle Gretsch Jet.
That's right. That's right.
I mean,
he said in the rack.
I'll say this is my favorite, and I'm going to show it only because it's Ben's show, and I don't think he ever shows this brand. So, but this is probably my favorite. It's a PRS. You see that? McCarty. So that's probably my favorite.
I did, in fact, play one PRS in my life I liked. And that was in 1993. I've never played one that matched to it. I don't know what that guy did to the setup, but it was magical.
So McCarty's are like the one that was designed by Ted McCarty. So they're very whatever. But that's probably my favorite guitar.
Nice.
Notice. It's right there.
Exactly. Well, you got a lot of love there. Except for Brad Miller's going, where's the blue Strat?
It's a teal green. I think that's behind me.
Quentin says, I'm starting a GoFundMe, not because I'm out of work, but I need cash for a Tom Anderson drop top. There we go. Everyone should have goals in life.
So the blue Strat he's talking about is the one that my wife thinks is like the ugliest guitar in the world, and won't, so much so that I wasn't allowed to take it out when I would go play, and I had to buy another Strat. So if I wanted to take a Strat, And the
It's
blue
that
Strat.
first. It's that first one in the rack right there. The one you had to buy for its
Right, I had
replacement.
to buy the white Strat, the teal green Strat. So in the chat, is this the ugliest guitar ever, or
No.
I don't know? I can't get the light. You can see it. You can see a little bit. It's like a
Yeah,
see-through.
see, it reminds me a lot of my pewter Strat. So,
It's like a see-through teal greenish
oh, that's badass.
American Deluxe. There you
Yeah,
go.
you got the nice. You got the modern bridge on it. You can see the wood.
The abalone inlays on the. You can kind of see those locking tuners on the back.
Nice. You know, they help tuning stability.
Yeah, we can talk about that and standby switches on amps, right? We'll carry us through the second hour.
Well, I will say I have been using my standby switch more as of late because I've noticed my power tubes are starting to wear in my Fender, and it will make a noise if you go straight to off, but it would be like if you put it in standby for 10 seconds, it wouldn't make the noise. Now I got to leave it in standby for a full minute for it to not make the noise when I shut it off. Yeah. But then again, if I wouldn't leave the thing on overnight once a week, I might not be needing to replace the damn power tubes.
So I'm not the only one that does that, walks away and forgets to turn the amp off.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the worst is if if you get busy for a couple of days and you're like, when was the last time I was in here?
Right.
What? And it's been like 2 days. And,
You can keep your coffee warm on top of if you do that.
that's true. Yeah, just taking the chill out of the air. That's all.
Yeah, that's right.
Tubes are sagging, Unbelievable says. Stop playing. Can't do that, Craig. Saying hey to each other there.
Lawrence Petross mentioned a while back there that Bosco France incredibly underrated guitarist.
I agree.
Amazing. We got to see him play a PRS clinic locally. That's how we even knew who he was, and
Nice.
just
I need to grab
mind-blowing.
more wine.
Who's that you're talking about?
Bosco.
Yeah. And not just like blues, but blues, country, chicken picking, shredding. The guy can play anything.
Yep.
Crazy good.
Hey, Wolverine. There you got 67 people watching. Nice.
The ones that say buy another guitars are the keepers. Yes. Yes. I've had to talk my wife out of it. Like there was like a beautiful PRS in a shop one day and she's like, you should buy it. You deserve it. It was like a beautiful PRS. I'm like, honey, we can't do that. Because I think the thing is like, if I do it, then she's like, well, it's 6 more purses, 5 more pairs of shoes. And for her, right? We can't do that.
Dean Ween from Ween. Yeah, underrated. I agree. Underrated Chris Haskett. True. I did see as well. Yes, Bethalco mentions Ariel Posen and Joey Landreth. He goes, I don't know if they're still underrated. Well, unless they're on the Tonight Show, they're underrated. We'll go with that. Unless they're absolute mainstream. Plus, I like supporting the Canadian boys.
Was it Dave? Who was you said the person that had 2 guitarists on, very famous guitarist, on their show? The first one he mentioned said he got emotional listening to his music. Oh my gosh, terrible. It was in a comment earlier, but it just reminds me, you mentioned Joey Landreth. I go back to that pedal show when they had them on. And at various times, both Mick and Dan had to step away because they didn't want to be grown men crying on their own show.
Right.
Chris Post, hello, welcome. Check out Scott Van Zen. Interesting. Do any of you remember the Fender Chorus? Pedal? Amp? Which are we talking?
The amp, right?
Well, Fender had like some other pedals years ago, right?
Yeah.
So maybe there was a pedal years ago he was talking about?
Yeah, I remember, I want to say 8-10 years ago, they had some cheaper pedals out. Because I remember a local music store had one sitting in their case for like years after that.
The guitarist I was trying to remember was Jason Becker.
Jason Becker, amazing. Sean Walden, there you go. I think Derry Gian, yes, definitely from Honeymoon Suite. And Killer Tone, too.
Did you read BC Rich's comment that week?
All right, now I got to scroll back.
It's not that far.
Touche. 2005. Okay, there we are. Weird dial instead of a knob. Okay.
Fender's killing it now. In the pedal
Yeah.
world?
Yeah.
Their line keeps growing. Oh my gosh, they're killing it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think they decided, let's not try competing with the lower brands, and and they just went right after the way huge market. That's what I thought when I looked at their pedals.
We have one, so we've had one so far. The pinwheel, the Leslie pedal, and it's a killer pedal. Built like solid, sounds great, has awesome features, has some features that we did what in our Leslie series. So we did a series called That Leslie Sound, and we did like 25 different Leslie pedals. And Fender's Leslie pedal definitely had some features that not one of the other pedals had. That was that like dynamic thing where the speed will change based on how hard you're playing, which is really, really, really cool. So Fender's killing it now.
I gave them a big thumbs up before even plugging them in when I saw the magnetic battery door cover. I was like, okay, you win. That's awesome.
Yes.
So Lawrence Petross, Lawrence, are we talking about Fender? Because there was a conversation we had with Fender that we're maybe going to have the designer try to have them come on the show.
Well, they do have offices in the greater Lawrence Petross area.
That's right. That's right. Yes, Fender. Yeah. Yeah, we have another pedal coming from them and got some pickups from them. They were talking about maybe having one of the designers come on. I'm not sure if that's the person or not. But.
I like their Santa Ana overdrive. It was nice. Yeah, it was funny. Sean just said Fender makes some great stuff, but they dropped the ball with the Mustang GT line, in my opinion. Their Fender pedals should be in there. That's what should be in those amps.
Right. They have this, like, how hard that is.
Yeah, instead of just insert generic tones here, which a lot of modelers seem to do to a point.
Lawrence Petross said they have to figure out their LEDs brightness. I think if I remember correctly, that Pinwheel's LED was pretty bright.
They are, yeah. And
they didn't get the memo on the real estate that people are looking for on a pedal board. They're a little bit bigger, but they're great pedals. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I think you can turn you can turn the LEDs on the switches and stuff off, but you're right, the light itself, the on-off light.
Very bright. Yeah, because they use like white LEDs.
It's killer.
Yeah, they're as bad as the blue ones. Welcome to blue LEDs. Thanks. Now I'm blind. Yeah,
that's right.
I'm trying to think of which. I'm just looking down. I think it is actually my Keeley. When I put that on, I was like, geez. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, that's where you start getting the painter's tape out or the gaff tape out and covering up the LEDs a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Craig Thompson says, Shane from In the Blues seems to really like the new Fender solid state amps. True. So they do have a version of the pedals in the new update, but they don't sound as good as the actual pedals. Sean Walden says. Interesting.
See Sean, Grumpy Mike is taking off.
See you, Grumpy Mike. Thanks for tuning in, buddy. Where was it? I saw there.
Oh, I remember the Fender Cyber Twins.
Hello, Mike Hanford. What was it? I saw there. Oh, there. What's up, Doc? Thoughts on the lead 3 for the cheapest Fender? Cheapest Fender is still basically their cheapest Fender. Their Affinity series still hands down bang for the buck. You spend a couple $100 and you could gig with one. I'm always amazed by them. You got to do a little bit of work to them. Susceptible to a bit of fret sprout or something like that. But I just like they have that minimal finish on their necks. And it's just a basic Strat or a Telly that sounds like a Strat or a Telly.
Nice.
Oh, thank you, Will. Yes, I have a birthday coming up Friday, folks, which we are doing a birthday hangout special here Friday night I think we're going to start at around 7:30 p.m. Eastern. And we have a bunch of guests coming on, and it will be probably turned into drunken debauchery. So, I think last year we did, I was talking to you guys about it in your chat. I think we did like 3.5, 4 hours on air, and then we continued for another 3 hours or so off air. And my buddy Aaron kept sending out the link, having guests pop on, and it's 3 a.m. here, and I'm very inebriated. And Henning is having his morning coffee because it's 9 a.m. in Germany. And he's like, so you had a good birthday? Yeah. I'm like, this is a trip. This is really a trip right now,
Are you the ghost from Christmas past? Who are you?
Yes. Happy birthday to Robot Master Switch. It was his birthday yesterday. Bought some more guitar gear. Nice.
That begs the question: are you going to be good to Ben on Friday and buy Ben some new toys, or what's happening?
Yeah. All super chats will go towards alcohol. I do have to talk on Friday.
Be honest here, right?
I think it's a given, right? Like,
yeah. Well, that was the funny part. The first time Aaron and I hung out, he thought I drank all the time. He goes, every time I see you, you drink. And I'm like, I really only drink on YouTube. Or if I have friends over or something like that. That's about it.
You spend as much time on YouTube as you do.
Well, see, now there you go. So, yeah.
I was going to say days that end in Y, but you went YouTube. I'll give you a couple days off.
Hey, little roadie guitar. Good to see
Check
you.
that out. We're 192 subscribers, man. That's pretty cool. Thanks, everybody that subscribed. I can't remember what I said it was before the show started, but that's been...
I think you were at
84.
1084. It seemed to me we need a Sweet 16 for you.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think.
So, that's halfway there. That's really cool. Thanks, people.
Awesome. And those that are then joining in that haven't been here, we got 80 people watching, so that's definitely more than we had earlier. Everyone should definitely subscribe to PJ and the Beard. Moderators can put the link in the chat. It's also down in the description as well.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
So when I started getting into this, I would be in your chat and I would see people talk about their channel, and I would click on the thing and go to their channel and subscribe. What happened? You can't do that anymore.
I think
I
think that's YouTube trying to cut down on the whole sub for sub thing. Because technically, like what we're, by me shouting out a channel and saying go to subscribe to them, that's kind of a sub for sub thing. And there was a lot of channels out there on YouTube, and that's all their channel was based on, right? It was just networking with each other and all they were doing was providing a place for other people to come to meet up to sub to each other. I think that's what I personally, I don't like it because as a moderator, I will check out a channel before I hide somebody, unless it's something blatantly obvious. But we had about a month ago in Pete Thorne's chat, somebody appeared to be Robert's Guitar Dungeon, and it was a spoof account. So I was only able to check because I was able to click on that go to channel. It was literally days before they got rid of that. I clicked go to channel and there's no content. I went, well, that's not him. So then I banned him because the guy was slagging everybody under the moon. But
gotcha. Yeah, I really liked it because I mean, to me, there's guys that would be in the chat, or
that's how I got most of my followers.
Because,
right.
Chats. I mean, it was a way for me to get to learn who some of the people in the community were. I would click on it, see, oh, that looked cool. I'm going to subscribe to that channel, go back and check that out later.
Yeah.
So I really liked it because, I mean, as nice as it is to jump on here and have you say go sub, and we appreciate to no end the people that do.
Sure.
I mean, look at the channel a little bit. If you sub to it, is it something,
Well, it almost seems like it's more YouTube wants to tell you what you should watch as opposed to us ourselves deciding who we want to follow and watch.
Right. So, I mean, if you like some of the stuff that we're doing and you want to sub, that's great. We're thrilled to have you. But if it's not your cup of tea,
exactly.
I mean, because
Lawrence has to get back to pedal building. Have a good one, man. And hello, one of my favorite names in YouTube, Jose Benito Martinez Jr. Love that name.
The great Vanzini said they shut that down about 2 weeks into the virus. Maybe temporary ?
I don't think so. I can't find any information on it. I've been searching around too. But like say, that's how I found was meeting up, meeting friends in the chat, a true community way of doing things. Like,
Right.
you and I, we could all be watching, say, Pete Thorne, and I'd be like, wow, these guys are really cool. Well, I'm going to click on your channel and give you a sub. I know I've had friends that jump in here that they're not into YouTube, and all of a sudden they're like, why are people subscribing me? And I said, well, think of it like a friend request on Facebook.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and it's a nice way to grow organically too, right? Because Pat and I've talked about this since the beginning. We never started this to we started it to hang out. This is a way for us to hang out, play each other's gear, get a lot of gear and play with it, go do some what we call field trips, like visits to different places, talk to different people, interview people, just have fun. But the organic growth of that, when you start to find that community of people that are kind of interested in what you're doing, that makes it really, really cool. So you could go out and do the things that some people do to try to boost your subs super quick, but that's not what you have going on here. You have a Sunday night chat going on where you have 80 some people in, and I recognize many of the names in here from hanging out in the chat or from you know what I mean. It's an organic community that you've grown here. It's a really, really cool thing. It gives people a chance to get to know other people, man. That's awesome. That's
Terry here says if you run Google Chrome browser, search for go to channel plugin and it'll allow you to do the previous jump to channel.
There you go.
Somebody
Terry, can you text me that or PM me that? Because again, as a moderator, that would be very handy to have. Let's see here. Brad Miller says, since we're on that subject, need one more sub to hit 120. Is there someone that could please subscribe to Brad Miller for his OCD to get him to an even 120?
Brad, I would go do it for you right now, but I already did.
If you want to be a dick, two of you do it, so he's at 121.
Overachieve.
Exactly. Let's see. Metal Soda says he met me on Cheddar Kung Pao's channel. That's right. I haven't seen Cheddar doing as much stuff lately. Quentin James says I started my channel to get chicks. Still waiting to get the chicks.
Chicks in the mail.
Thank you, Terry. Oh, and I got a message from Tim Lewis a while ago. I just noticed. You rock, pal. Thanks for all the attention tonight. It's so fun having Brielle's attention together on all this, too.
Yeah.
See, that's what it's all worth it.
She's really cool.
Yeah.
How cool would it be to be building pedals with your daughter?
Come on. I'm just waiting for that idiot, when she's 17, she'll probably be playing, be decent, especially for 17. She'll probably be really good for 17. And there'll be that dickhead, guy that'd be like, oh, I play a little guitar. And it'd be like, yeah, if you only knew she was building pedals, when
she was 8.
Yeah.
Right.
Come on. There we go. Mark Tapp just subscribed to Brad Miller. Chicks in the mail. That's just confusing.
Somebody just went and unsubscribed. Thank you.
Did he say he wanted to be at 120?
Serious. Yeah, I don't like what you're doing. I don't want to be subscribed.
Did he say he wanted to be at 120 forever, or?
Yeah. Hey, 6-string Stangers here. ZD351 says, people say hi to me in these chats, and I wonder how they know me. It's great. Well, I've known you, John, for a couple of years now. I think I met him through In the Blues as well.
Oh, there's another great channel. So we've brought up that pedal show, Henning, and then the Blues. And the Blues is the one that got me into watching YouTube. He's the first guy I really found, and the first guy that I was like, if I want to check out a pedal and he has a demo on it, that's the one I'm clicking on.
Yep. And showed it to Shane. I'd say he was the first major YouTuber that came on my channel. I reached out to him with, I think I might have had 150, maybe 200 subscribers. And he's like, sure, I'll come on, mate. Awesome. He's been on a few times.
He seems like a really nice guy.
Yeah. I've been on his channel. He's done some of he used to do it, not as much now. And I think part of it's the limitation with StreamYard, but with Google Hangouts, you could have up to 10 people on with you. So he'd do the community hangouts, whereas where I got the idea, and just have your regulars from the chat come on screen. It's awesome. That's why I met Zach Thong for the first time. Was on screen in one of Shane's hangouts.
Yeah.
And I know Zach watches both of our channels, so shout out Zach Thong.
Yeah.
Who I got to actually meet last year at Cosmo Music Fest, which was awesome. He lives about an hour up the road from me, and Cosmo is about a 2-hour drive, so it was fun. Mike Hanford says I installed an Eminence Texas Heat in my Bandit on Shane's recommendation. Nice.
You know, it's funny. I have a PV Bandit sitting upstairs that's in my son's room, and every time he goes on and on about that amp, I always think, I have one of those upstairs. I don't like it as much as he likes it, but it's a cool amp. Like if you're gonna play solid state amp, it's a great amp. It was the first amp I ever.
And he single-handedly, I think, doubled the value of Bandits.
Right. I don't know which one I have. It's an old one. It's like I said, it's the first amp I ever bought.
Well, if that's the case, what piece of gear do we want to devalue tonight by us talking about it?
Roadie guitar. Good to see you, man. Will Rella says, I think my first time watching was on Pixie and Phil McKnight. Yes, Pixie Licks, a.k.a. Steve from Boston, was the first channel I ever subscribed to.
It's a weird thing because, I mean, I watched YouTube for years and never subscribed to anybody. You know, like...
That's the change I find is you start using Google or use YouTube like Google, right? It's a search result. I'm looking for this pedal demo, whatever. That's what you do. Maybe you might subscribe to somebody if they really were really cool or something, but chances are you just watch the video, moved on. Now it's turned into almost more like Facebook, where it's very social. There's that interaction with the live chats, and I think it's the live streaming that's really turned it more into a social networking as opposed to just, like, say, just a Google website type thing.
That's interesting. Because I mean, the first time I subscribed to somebody's channel was like after, and it was probably in the blues, and it was probably after I watched like 15 of them. The second channel was probably that pedal show. And again, after they had popped up enough time that I was like, you know what, I really enjoy watching these. I think third might even have been like the JHS show. You know, I mean, literally, I was really stingy about it. Like I'm like, I get enough notifications in my life.
Yeah.
So it took me a while to get into that.
Nice. I just got a photo sent to me from Brendan B. Squared of his Connects with Guitars shirt, which if you would like a Connects with Guitars shirt, folks, links down below for merch of all kinds. Feel free.
Ask if there's any Univibe junkies in here.
Yep.
I think I might qualify. I might qualify in that.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I like Univibes.
YouTube is social networking without the force feed. Exactly, the fill button. Especially if you are use a laptop or something or a desktop to watch, and you click over on the left, subscriptions, then it's nothing but you subscribe to. Guitar Man 45 says I didn't start subscribing until maybe about 10 months ago, I think. I think for me it's when I discovered the live streams, because like I say, Steve from Boston was the first, and I think Johnny Bean was the next one, because he went live at that time 3 times a week, and I was just like, wow, it's a cool place to hang out 3 nights a week.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Landra says, Ben, my wife is wearing my Canucks with Guitar shirt. Grr. Well, Brian, chances are she looks better in it than you.
Fine. Buy another one. Problem solved.
Yeah,
thank you, man.
Quite a few Univibe junkies out there. So I saw somebody said their Jam Retro was their favorite vibe, and that is like the one that I haven't been able to get my hands on. Although we did get Jam pedals, tremolo pedal for the upcoming tremolo series. But I'd love to try that Jam Univibe.
Brad Miller says Phil McKnight was my gateway to YouTube.
Yeah, a little bit of mine too, honestly.
Yep.
And I feel like I saw him early on and felt like, at first kind of what I liked about him is I thought he was really authentic and almost a little uncomfortable at times, him, but just the guy that was just like super authentic, talked about the gear. And even when he had something, less than kind to say about it, he said it in such a way that wasn't, a guy giving off bad vibes. So, yeah.
Right. I think for me it was when Phil was doing those like 5 things you don't know about.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, like 5 things you didn't know about a Strat. And for me, when I watch these videos, all you have to do is get one. If there's one that I didn't know about, call me impressed, right? So, it's one of those sit back, arms crossed. I'm like, go ahead. And he named off 2 or 3 things. And I went, holy crap, I didn't know that. Right. And because he would always throw a couple in depth, like, did you know the 5-way switch wasn't available until 1973? I'm like, I did not know that. Thank you.
Yep.
Ah, yes. Oh, okay. Fine, it's you guys. I was like, oh, yes, we have a comment here. The Voodoo Lab Micro Vibe is a really good one. Yeah, I agree. I recommended that to someone the other day because that's RJ Ronquillo loves that one too.
Yeah, it's a
Peter
Beard wins. I got to run. Beard is fading, Brian. Ben has pushed me 25 minutes past the limit. I think they were making bets on whether I would go past an hour on this or not with you, Ben. They get mad at me.
You cut the shows at an hour. We're going to do 2 hours, so I figure we'll do 2 hours.
I'm gonna get kicked off my own show. I'm the one that kept pushing 2 hours.
Martin Lemaire says my first sub was Dave's World of Fun Stuff. Yep. If you want to learn guitar repair, watch Dave. That's for sure. Ben talked to Phil a couple of months ago. He's still developing some new things for his stream, if I have it correct. Yes. Actually, I'm waiting to hear back from Phil. I'd like to get him back on here again. And hopefully we can do it before the countries open up again, right? Well, everyone has that free time.
Right.
So what are they talking about? Is he talking about Phil Mosley? Is that what his name is?
Phil McKnight.
Okay. I saw that he mentioned, was it Phil Mosley?
Someone mentioned Phil Mosley, yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody, yeah.
Because he was, I think Phil was the guy. Is he not doing it anymore? He was the guy that started doing it at 9 o'clock on Monday nights after you. That when we were like, okay, there's other people that want that, and we kind of bailed out of that thing.
Right.
He's not doing it anymore. He said he misses them.
Yeah, I think he's taken down most of the stuff that was on his channel, so I don't know what's going on there. I know he was doing some music production stuff outside of YouTube, but I don't know if he's given up on YouTube altogether or what's going on. So, Chris Post asks, "Is there a way to see who my first sub was?" I do not know.
I'll do that.
I see. A sub too many channels to watch everything that is uploaded and streamed now. ZD351 said, yeah.
But you know what I like about that? It's kind of like when you go on a cruise ship, which was anyone ever going to go back on a cruise ship. But when you go on a cruise ship, you're like, I'm going on vacation, and my biggest decision today is what don't I want to do, right? Like, so that's kind of like I feel like you can subscribe to channels, you can get all the notifications in the world, and you're like, oh shoot, yeah, I'm sitting here now, and this popped up. So I get it, but I don't mind having the options. And even like I was like, even when you had Pete Thorne on, I certainly wanted to watch all of it, and I can go back and watch it later. I couldn't watch all of it, but I at least checked it out for a while.
Sure.
So yeah, it is a lot, but you can ignore it, but.
Yeah, and that's some stuff you can catch on replay, and which I don't mind too, because there's stuff that people talk about that you're not interested in. So it's like I don't know. Somebody asks you guys a question about ring modulators. Okay, well I'm going to skip ahead 2 minutes.
Right.
I don't care. Or when people get into all this modeling stuff or IRs, whatever. I use a tube amp, folks. I place a mic in front of a tube amp. That's how I get my tone.
That's a true story.
Robot Master Switch says, can I stack a Klon style OD with a Timmy style? Yes. In fact, that's going to sound awesome. I heard you shouldn't stack 2 of the same type. I don't know. I think the Timmy style is a different circuit than the Klon style anyways. But I think that's going to sound nice.
That was going to be my question. If you stack something with something that has a transparency to it, do you know it's there? If a bear in the woods, do you...
How many transparent overdrives can I stack before it becomes...
Before it's noticeable.
before it's apparent?
Yeah.
That sounds like a good show right there. Just line them all up. Can you hear it now? How about now?
Huh. I wonder how many transparent style overdrives I have. I might have to do that. Dang, the Tholko. Let's see here. Ben, curious if you or PJ in the Beard have experience with Hagstrom guitars. I picked up a Super Viking up the other day, and it's a great ES335 alternative. Wondering if you guys have thoughts. Gentlemen?
I'm trying to remember. I taught guitar for a little while, and I had a student who had a Hagstrom. I don't remember exactly what model it was, but I did like it. It was something with the F-hole. I don't remember if it was the 335, clone for lack of a better term, but I liked him, and I thought the price point, I mean, anything with an F-hole, first of all, gets my attention, but I thought they were pretty nice. And when you're teaching somebody and you're playing with them and the guitar stays in tune and all that, you notice that. I don't have anything, I have limited experience, but not anything really negative to say about them.
Yeah, my experience isn't that. I've played a few of them, and they all played nice, but my experience isn't. I kind of with Pat though, like we I love all guitars. So like I feel like this. If you give me a guitar, I could probably find something good about it that I like.
Right.
But yeah, I'm sorry I can't give you more. I don't know. What about you, Ben? Do you ever play a Hagstrom?
Yes, actually, the first band I was in, the other guitar player had a Hagstrom Super Swede, which I loved, and it was an early 70s model, as I recall. So it was definitely a made in Sweden original. I've played the reissues. I don't know, like a lot of reissues, they get about 85, 90% of the way there. But I don't know how they are price-wise in the US, but here they were overpriced for what I thought they were like $100, $150 more than they should have been for what they were. Similar to, but not to the extreme of my issues with Dane Electro. So there you go. Because Dane Electros should be priced as cheap or cheaper than Harley Benton's, in my opinion.
Yeah, they should be priced at whatever the going rate for Formica and countertops is currently.
This is what I'm saying. You relaunch a brand in Canada, double to triple the price, and I'm like, but you haven't done anything to warrant the increase.
Right.
I typed in Hagstrom Viking, and the first video that popped in Google, but the first video that pops up is Shane from In the Blues holding one up.
Of course.
Yes, we covered everything. That's a nice looking guitar. Hey.
Bent Tom coming in like a storm. As long as it doesn't have an a-hole.
That is a nice looking guitar.
Ask, how's mom and dad doing? They're doing well. Thanks for asking, Will. Mom was out getting some sun earlier today, and dad was out riding mower today. So
nice.
Yeah.
I don't know what the price on it is, Ben, but the Hagstrom Viking he's talking about is a nice. It really is. That's a nice looking 335 type guitar. I like the headstock on it too.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so Bocthalco says the Viking is the Gibson scale, the Super Viking is Fender scale.
Which one did he get? The Super Viking?
Nice. Well, it's interesting though. Usually the Super would be, we added binding or something like that. Not, it's bigger. It's literally a bigger guitar. I dig it. Robot Mass Switch, put your Timmy after your Klon. I just see him asking BB, so. I figure, hey, it's my channel. I can jump in and answer that.
That's right. That's right.
You can do whatever you want, Ben.
Right. I mean, Ben, you've got 3 moderators of your own channel tonight, so certainly feel free to chime in. It's like a hostile takeover. It's like a hostile takeover over here.
It's great.
Everything we know about live streams, we learn from you. So here we go.
So you haven't learned much.
That's right. That's right. We came on for on-the-job training.
There we go. Oh, yes. Alex Radford. Congratulations. He bought a Steinberger.
Oh, nice.
Oh, we have a Steinberger friend.
We do.
What's the guitar on my far left? Robot Master Switch was asking, I think. Or somebody asked. On my far left, that is an Epiphone Les Paul. Or, unless you're asking the other side, which is...
Your other left.
That's over there.
Your YouTube left.
There's a case sitting over there that has a sticker on it that says, my other guitar is a Steinberger. And that is a 1979 Les Paul that belongs to a old blues guy, friend of ours.
Nice.
We featured that in an episode. It's an interesting Les Paul. Let's put it that way.
SD Design says I saw a Steinberger at a pawn shop for $850. Nice. I tried a few of them last year at NAMM just because I'd never played one before, and I was like, needs the trans-trem to be a full-on Steinberger though.
Right.
Gary has one that like you can do something with. Is that Is that where you can like change the tunings on the fly with it?
Yeah. It's like a series of notches for the drum bar.
Yeah, one of them was like that, and then
Yeah.
I think one
of course, all you want to do is play Van Halen's Summer Nights over and over. Anyone else think Steinbergers sound like they should come with fries and drink? Yes. I think Ben Tom's been drinking. He's like, trans-trim or go fuck yourself. Okay, sure.
Hey, Ben Tom is usually a little bit out of bounds slightly at 4:30. This is a whole new time frame for me to see Ben Tom.
This is true. See, that's why, other than my channel, the only channel he moderates is RJ Roncalio's, and that's because it's on at 10 in the morning.
That's right. Yeah, we do the Oprah time slot, the PG-13 most of the time. So
that's right.
We don't see
I don't drink alcohol. Well, we know. You know what, then, Tom? I'm guessing there's a volcano involved, and I'll just leave it at that.
Better living through chemistry.
Yes. This is just my normal personality. I don't give a shit. And haven't mentioned Ben Tom is part of the panel for my birthday hangout. So there you go.
The party's already started, Ben.
Yes. Yeah, we're pre-gaming on Sunday for a Friday hangout, right?
Right. Now, boys, you're not as young as you used to be.
Can you supersize the Steinberger? Yes, you get the base.
Get a headstock.
Hey, Mars Man. Good to see you, man. SD Design says, if I had to choose between a Parker Fly and a Steinberg, I would rather the Parker Fly. Except that upper horn has a tendency to want to grab you right in the ribs, depending on how you wear it. Other than that, great guitar.
Yeah, the Steinberger missing the headstock really messes with you when you play it. I've played it a couple of times live. You're at a jam and he was doing a gig and he come on up and play a song and he hand you the Steinberger and you'd be like, you think you're playing an E, but you're not. You're playing in like it's a little crazy. It's kind of like when you put on an SG on. If you don't play SG a lot, you put the SG on, and that neck seems like it's like everything.
Yep.
You get the same kind of feeling with the Steinberger. At least I do.
I had that happen when I did some product demos for Lawrence at NAMM this year, and I borrowed a guitar. Well, there was a guitar in his booth, but there was no amplifier. But there was a guitar builder next door, so I went over there and asked if I could borrow an amp. And the guy said, well, if you're going to use my amp, you have to use one of my guitars for the performance. So I said, sure, of course. He handed me a travel guitar. And so it was basically a touch bigger than a Steinberger. Like, well, there we are then. This should be interesting.
Yeah.
And then as much as I wanted to do that as a bucket list item, play at NAMM, then all of a sudden I'm like, crap.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Because I'm like, everybody that walks by is going to be a better player than me. Everybody.
Oh.
That's all I could think of.
Yeah, I joked that anytime you go to
that, watching me the whole time, and I'm like, great, thanks, Caleb. Yeah.
Yeah, I just joke all the time that like people who want to go to like Nashville to make it, I go, just remember, the Uber driver that's picking you up to drive you to your hotel is a better guitar player than you are.
Yeah. Well, that was when I knew something was up last summer when I was talking to Robert Baker, who performs all over Winter NAMM, but he refuses to play at Summer NAMM. And I'm like, really? He goes, dude, I won't pick up guitar at Summer NAMM.
Right.
Oh, damn. Well, if Baker won't pick up guitar, what the hell? I found those beer vendors every 20 or so booths really helps with being able to pick up guitars at NAMM shows.
After about 60 booths, you were ready to go.
Yeah, pretty much. That's how we ended up with the mag slide. It was RJ. He's like, man, you got to try out the slide. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh, crap. Now I got to play slide guitar in front of RJ Roncalio.
Right.
I picked one of those up recently. They're pretty cool.
Yeah. Considering, it looks so thick and heavy, and then you pick it up and there's not much to them.
Is that right there?
Nice.
I just like it because it's shiny.
Well, yes. We all like shiny things. Robot Master Switch, are there any guitar clear coat finishes that aren't cancer in a can and don't take 6 months to dry completely? Yes. Don't use nitrocellulose lacquer. That's what takes 6 months to dry. Get a poly, dries in an hour or two. Still harmful, but less harmful.
That's right.
Unless you're trying to do it over top of lacquer, because you got to do lacquer over lacquer. You can't really do poly over lacquer.
Your sister likes shiny things too.
Yes, she does. She's easily amused. Alex Radford uses a lighter for a slide. I've done the beer bottle slide thing. I used to use I used to have more of a cylinder style vape, so that way I could still vape on stage. It was weird because they outlawed smoking but allowed vaping for a while, and then it was as long as I was on stage they'd let me hit my vape between songs. But then there was always this one song we would do like near the end of a long set. So it was literally I do a slide part, hit my vape, do some slide parts. And then we had a free smoke show too.
I was going to say, yeah, you could create your own environment there. The lights probably look great.
Thanks, Metal Soda. He's like, holy shit, I just noticed Ben's hair. It's almost down to his arse. It's elbow length. I do need a haircut. I got one before NAMM last year.
Nice.
All right, we turned over to Vapor Chat here. All right, folks, come on. Let's get some questions coming in here. Are you guys familiar with Distinctive Guitars? They have an amazing inventory. I'm not aware of those guys. Distinctive Guitars.
Yeah, I'm not familiar.
The beard's beard is right on the edge, though. I've often told him, I said, listen, I don't want to tell you what to do, but when your beard starts covering up the brand, you got to get a little trim there.
Okay, it looks like that's a music store, high-end music store out of Milwaukee.
Okay.
They got Sirs, Nags, Tom Andersons. Okay, so yeah.
Nice.
My sister says she's cut my hair a bajillion times. Yes. And I will be coming over, Amanda, for another haircut very soon.
I'm not getting my hair cut until there's a vaccine. That's my story.
So we're hoping you don't end up looking like me.
Right.
That's right.
I figure this might be my only chance to grow it back out.
There we are. Wait, isn't Beard and ZZ Top Wilbur last?
Nobody does pick up
Well,
something.
that's my uncle. That's my uncle. You know.
My sister says, sweet, bring beer. Done.
Yeah.
It's so easy to get a haircut from my sister. Just bring over some beer. She's happy.
Good old Uncle Billy.
And hello to Tor. He says, I'm not cutting my toenails until quarantine's over.
Oh, my, that's a good one.
Guitar Man 45 says the Moses look is in.
Well, I just stopped shaving when they did the lockdown. I mean, before that, I was nice and.
Yeah, that's right.
See, you look what's happened. This has been an hour and 43 minutes. This is unprecedented, and now I'm just getting stupid.
Let's keep going.
Yeah.
Yes, this will not end in one of those epic 6-hour hangouts.
Pat knows me well enough that, like, when I'm done, it'll just be like, well.
You'll just see his chair. You'll see his chair just spinning around from where he got up and left.
Nice.
See what
happens.
happens.
Headed out. See you, buddy.
Right at this point where you're ready to go, then somebody will ask like a real question about like, hey, let's go back to that Univibe thing. You said you like the dry bell. Why do you like that? And then I'll be like, oh, well. And then you look up and it's like, oh, man, another 10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Or like, was it Brian yesterday or today on your chat?
Yeah.
One more question, and then right at the end.
Yeah, he does that.
It's so funny. You go look at that chat. It ended at 59:50. We weren't giving him the satisfaction of 1 hour.
Thank you, Terry. You put another link to your channel in there.
Oh, Will, that's a great question. We did a whole episode on that.
Humbuckers. Phil Button's got to head out. Dinner bell for him. And Pete Hickson's back.
Oh, look
Look at that. Isn't that how it works? You always see one person will say, hey, got to run, and then someone else comes in to take their spot.
Will had a good question. We did one of our live streams was on that very topic. Our first guitars, I think. Can't tell you which one it was, but
Anthony Murphy says Dry Bell and a Unit 67 are on his wish list.
yeah, the Dry Bell's cool. I haven't played the Unit 67, but the Dry Bell, the Vibe machine is really cool. It's a power monster, but it's good. It's a good pedal.
CD351 says, sounds like Columbo. Just one more question.
Just the facts, man. Not Columbo, but...
Yeah, just one more question. Is it true your pedal is not actually true bypass, and you're only claiming that it's true bypass?
Is it true if you have a transparent overdrive and stack another transparent overdrive that it becomes parent? I like that. We have to get Ben intellectual property for parent, right? Didn't you say parent? It becomes parent.
I think somebody should make it. I mean, we know all these builders now, right? You got Timmy, you got Lawrence Petross, and Dave Barber, and we need to talk one of them into building the parent parent overdrive.
BC Rich asked,
right?
how's my mom doing? She's doing well, thanks, BC Rich. Hopefully, she'll be going for surgery in July. We're hoping at this point. What was else? I saw something there. My sister's not fussy on booze, just no Jägermeister. Fair enough. I think I've only ever drank that at music festivals. Have you guys tried the Digitech drop pedal? Does it affect your tone a lot? It seems like it would be super convenient. I've seen a few people using them, and I'd kind of like to try one.
I haven't used one, but I've seen them on a lot of rigs, like pro rigs.
Brian has one. I know he uses one because he'll play the backing tracks, and some of are tuned, to E flat, so it's just boom, just drop. Is there really such a thing as a transparent overdrive? All right. Well, I haven't seen any of them active in the chat in the last while, but we had about 6 pedal builders in here earlier that could answer.
We found out what the attention span is of a pedal builder. It's less than an hour.
All right,
I think somebody was talking about that there isn't. I think one of the builders that we had interviewed on our channel basically said there's no such thing as a transparent overdrive. It was either that or
no, because if you implement any form of tone stack, it's not transparent, right? Like you should basically build it like a power amp circuit without the power to be transparent.
The JHS show that they did an episode about 2 weeks ago called Buzzwords. I think Josh Scott talks about transparent as one of the buzzwords, and I think maybe that's where I'm hearing that. So check that out.
Let's see. Is this the telly that Vance? He said a telly. All right. Well, this is it. If not, I'll grab the other one. But this is my 2015 made in Mexico humbucker telly with coil tap, which is what you see in most of my demos. Because demoing a pedal, I can use the same guitar to do single coil or humbucker. That's tomorrow night, Will. I play music tomorrow night, not tonight. No music tonight.
There was another question. Somebody, I think it was Will, asked what your worst live guitar moment was.
Oh, probably a piece of gear breaking down, signal loss. No, you know what? Drunken bass player stepping on my pedal board. Going from, like when you have your pedals where you'll actually have the level lower based on the pedal. So if you bypass your dirt, your clean amp is much louder. And let's just say my tone was MXR full bore metal in drop C tuning, very riff bass, very heavy. My bass player steps on my pedal, and all of a sudden you hear full blast, absolute clean Fender amp.
Perfect.
Didn't sound cool.
Worst guitar moment on stage? That's a toughie. I don't think about that.
I think mine. My friends still give me a hard time about it. We were playing my junior year of college or something. We were playing a big show at the college, and there was probably 800 people there or something like that. And it brought in like full sound reinforcement and lights. Now this was like mid 80s, so that was kind of a big deal. And I had a solo, and I completely, with the stage lighting and everything else, screwed it up. And to this day, it's still the joke. Hey, remember that time we were playing in front of those people and you played a solo in the key of Z? Remember that? They're like, what key was that? I'm like, I don't know. I couldn't see it. Messed it up. So they still let me know about that one.
Yeah, actually, something I got up. It was a birthday gig. It was on my birthday. We had a buddy of mine opening for me, and he asked me to come up and do a song with him at the end of his set. And literally, the song was 2 chords. It was just C and F. And he said, take it away. And I wasn't much of a lead player at that time. So I literally had a 50-50 chance of guessing which key it was in. I guessed the wrong one. So, yeah, half the notes sounded okay. But there was a lot of sour notes in that solo. Yeah.
I used to travel to teach these classes. And one time I was staying in a hotel and I went down the street and there's these guys setting up. They were doing a jam. And he's like, come on back. Come on back. So I'm like, well, I'm staying in a hotel. I'm away from home, whatever. So I did. I went back that night. And we had got to talking, before I left and went back. And he knew I would play in the band and everything. And then they invited me to sit in. And as I was watching them, like everything sounded good. I was, if you think you're going to sit in, you watch a guitar player, you listen to what they're playing, is that going to work for me kind of thing? And everything sounded like it was going to work. And then they asked me to come up, and the guitar player switched out his guitar, and somehow the pedal board disappeared. And so I'm up there with like a Strat, which I'm not used to playing in that kind of situation with no overdrive, no nothing. Just wow. Yeah, it was bad. It was really bad.
I see Tim.
I felt like a hero. What's that?
Welcome back, Tim, from TL Pedals. And I saw Gurr stepped in for a minute as well. Welcome, Gurr.
Oh.
We got a few minutes left here. Another one time, I remember my singer coming up to me, telling me, now, granted, I have imbibed a little too much before going on stage because I wasn't driving. So, and I didn't really care because I think I quit the band a few weeks later. But I apparently somehow somebody stepped on my pedal board during the set and turned my wah on. Again, full bore metal is my normal tone. And all of a sudden you have a wah all the way forward. That changed the tone a bit.
Not even a cocked wall, right? It was in the worst position, right?
Yeah, wide open. Although I remember doing that at another, fortunately, it was band practice, and I was playing in a cover band where I had a very bright tone to begin with, playing tellies through Fender amps. And Richie was the other guitar player in the band. He goes, now, Ben, I know your tone is generally shrill, but it's extra shrill tonight. By any chance, is your wah on and all the way forward? Because I remember I'm going to my amp, and I'm like, cranking the bass on my amp. I'm like, it's not doing anything.
Right.
Yeah. Fun stuff. BC Rich says, had a guitarist who had his digital pedal board stolen while we're taking a break.
Yeah, that could have been a coup by the band. They're like, let's get rid of this and get some real analog stuff in here.
BV Ninja says, question for PJ the Beer. Brian Wobbler built 25 psychosomatic drives. I have number 3. It's truly transparent with good reason. Can you guess why?
I don't know.
Brian built 25 psychosomatic drives. I have number 3. It's truly true. Can you guess why? Because it is an input jack, an output jack, and maybe a switch to turn it on and off. Maybe not. There's nothing in it.
Nice.
That would be my guess.
Yeah, Mike Hanford said no circuit. Nice.
Right. Psychosomatic. You think it's like he built the placebo of the pedal world, right? Like here's a box with the switch on it, but it does absolutely nothing.
Yes, and Tim's status light on a wah, very handy. Yes, I think that's a big pet peeve with a lot of wahs for me.
True.
Robot Master Switch. When the drummer and I got kicked out of a band by the singer because we didn't jump in and help him with a drunken fight he started with some random dude. Well, that sounds like a lead singer kicking out bandmates for a good reason.
Well, that's because you guys were loading out
That's
the gear.
correct. So no circuit.
There you go.
Dang, Jose Benito Martinez Jr. Question for the three: would any of you buy a new 64 Gibson Historic 335 VOS paint, patina hardware, or a same appointed Gibson made to measure glossy nitro finish with chrome hardware? So basically, would you take more of that satin with a relic hardware, or would you want something that looks brand new?
What's the price?
Yeah, that's right.
You know what? With a 335, I'd probably take the aged one. Because then if I ding it or something, I don't feel bad.
Yeah, I mean, I could go either way. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not. A 335. Would I buy a 335? Yes.
And they're both very nice. Yeah, historic, VOS or made to measure. They're both going to be nice.
Right.
Yeah,
I might lean towards the relic one. I like that.
I like the way they do it with that. Yeah, it's not quite a satin finish. That kind of dulled finish.
What was the answer to the Wamper thing? Did he answer that?
Yes, no circuit by the looks of things.
Okay.
It was an April Fool's joke by the looks of things.
Well, that's pretty cool. That psychosomatic drive. I like that. That's nice.
Yeah. Yeah, that would literally be the placebo drive, right?
The placebo drive.
Hey, Maurice. And I will say, unofficially, there may be an announcement regarding a new overdrive on the market this coming Friday on my birthday show.
Sweet.
Just saying, folks.
Wouldn't have anything to do with the prototype, would it?
No, actually not. But that prototype is getting demoed and will be out Wednesday. Because I said to Lawrence, rather than him sending me another of the same pedal to demo, I said, "Are you doing anything different with the circuit?" And he's like, "No, it's finalized." All right, well, I'll just use the prototype in the demo so we can get a video out for it. So
cool.
But there will be a surprise with that one.
Nice.
I had to borrow gear just for that demo, which I'll tease a bit on tomorrow night's Canucks show. Let's see here.
Before we get out of here,
yes.
Tomorrow at 4:30, we're going to have on a guy, Johnny Eline. And Johnny happens to be, this is really interesting. It's going to be a good show, interesting for me. When I first started teaching, I had Johnny in class. He was one of my students. He has gone on to become pretty sought after as a monitor engineer.
Mm-hmm.
And so he has just like pulling from his LinkedIn page, he works a lot for Boys to Men, has worked for Alanis Morissette, New Kids on the Block, Paula Abdul, Panic at the Disco, Taylor Swift, Rihanna, Slayer, Stevie Wonder, toured with Marvel Universe Live and Ringling Brothers. He did a lot of work with Ringling Brothers Circus and stuff. So he's been like all over the world running monitor mixes for people. So different kind of side. Like we normally focus on the guitars, but this will be like a different.
I like that too because monitor mixing is different than front of house. I know that. I used to do sound before I started playing again, and also with that list that you mentioned. It's not like it's some punk band where, give us something in the wedges and I'm fine. Like we're talking mainly singing acts where vocals is everything. So their monitor mixes have to be perfect.
Yeah. And so like, I mean, you don't work for people like that if you're not good.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it'd be really interesting to kind of catch up with him and hear how he got to that point and, what some of his thoughts are about like stage sound and stuff like that. So. Different, it won't be all. But we may be able to get him pull guitar or two out. I don't know. I think he has a couple.
Well, we've come up. We are 30 seconds short here of 2 hours. The beard is still
got out of here before because I can't make 2 hours.
So I was going to say, do you have anything to add, PJ, my good man?
None other than just thanks for having us on. I mean, I feel I've watched you so much and you've interacted with us in the chat, but to be on live with you has been great. And to see all of the other questions and the new people in the chat, this has been great. This YouTube thing, I never thought we'd be where we are and be invited to come on to other people's shows. It's crazy. Like, because frankly, we're not that interesting, but we do appreciate you having us on, and we have enjoyed this YouTube thing. And if people like what we're doing, that's great, because we're just trying to be authentic what we do. We're two friends that enjoy talking about gear, enjoy hanging out, different playing styles. We like some different gear, so it's been a great ride, and we appreciate this opportunity to be on with you. And looking forward to maybe seeing some of these names pop up in our chat and kind of build the community. Yeah. Jason actually used the word community when we first started this channel. I'm like, yeah, whatever. I understand what you mean, but I don't understand. And it's become more than I could ever imagine. So it's really cool. So
yeah. I can say, having watched you guys from the start, I could see when you got it. You know what I mean? All of a sudden you're like, okay, yeah, I see this community thing here, and
yeah,
it's just growing. It's awesome.
Yeah,
Jason, my good man, anything to add?
Honorary Canadian right here.
That's right.
Love for that. No, Ben, thanks for having us on. Like, PJ said it all. You've been a supporter. We've watched your show for a long time. A lot of familiar names from popping into your chat in the chat. I just think, like I said before, really cool what you're doing. The community you've built up. The 2 hours of distraction you offer people every Sunday night and Monday night. I think it's cool. So thanks for reaching out and having us come on. We really appreciate it. And it's nice to actually get to talk to you and I guess in person, you know,
well,
kind of in person.
Meet you guys at least in 2 dimensions, right? You know, unfortunately, Summer NAMM is off, so we won't be able to meet up in Nashville. So, but I'm sure we will meet up sooner or later, because honestly, guys, I see nothing but good things. You know, like, I'm some big established channel, but of course, you guys will probably be passing me in no time, because you guys are putting out good content. You got a good vibe. You keep it real. You keep it positive, you know, and like I say, I've been a fan since day one, because I was like, geez, okay, you guys, you know, we're doing it. And you just kept doing what you're doing, and you put out great demos. They're very informative. You put out great live streams. It's real. It's authentic. So, you know, I was more than happy to do this, and I think we were overdue in all reality. So thank you, definitely, both Pat and Jason, for joining us tonight. So just hold the line. I want to thank everybody that tuned in tonight. Had some new names in the chat, which is always awesome. Please subscribe if you're new. If you're watching on replay, that's awesome. Leave a comment if you're watching on replay. We don't get enough comments. Leave a comment, even just saying hey. Be awesome. Thanks everybody that donated tonight. You know, much love to that. And as always, folks, hold those doors open. Let that guy in heady in traffic. Do good things, and good things will happen to you. Karma's real. I'm living the dream. Pat's living the dream. Jason's living the dream. We're all living the dream. So get out there, be good to each other, stay safe, be well, and let's all meet up tomorrow afternoon at PJ and the Beard for another hour of distraction. Cheers. Rock on.
Yeah.